In this video, we will look at uploading files in Moodle. Now, let's define what a file is. A file can be a Microsoft Word document, it can be a PowerPoint slide, it can be a PowerPoint file to be exact, an Excel file, an MP3 file, a video file. Any file that you have on your machine can be uploaded, and you then can give the student a link to that file in Moodle. I've already logged into the course, and you're seeing the page resource which I've created earlier. Now remember the definition between, or the distinction between, a resource and an activity. A resource is anything that delivers course content to a student, while an activity is everything else. Now that we have the definition of a file and the definition of a resource out of the way, let's go ahead and add a file resource in Moodle. Now we have one of two ways, a few ways you can go about adding a file, but note, you have a file on your machine and you need to upload it to Moodle. So you need to take this file from your computer that you're in front of and upload it to the web server. Now what you're used to is probably downloading a file, it's taking a web file from a web server, but that's out there on the internet, and bringing it to your machine. That is known as downloading. We want to do the opposite. There's a file on our machine which we need to put on the internet server so our students can now have access to that file. That is known as uploading. There are a couple ways to accomplish uploading a file from your machine to the Moodle web server. The first way I'll show you is through the main course area, where you see My Profile, and then under My Profile you have My Private Files. Now let's click My Private Files. Now it says no files available. Let's go ahead and manage My Private Files. It's giving you the option to now go ahead and add a file or create a folder. So let me just go ahead and create a folder. That's to keep things organized in my private files area. So create a folder. I'm going to give the folder name week 1. So I'm just putting all the content that I expect to teach on week 1 in this particular folder. So I have a folder now known as week 1. Let us click into week 1, and the folder is empty. So let's go ahead and add a file. I click add, and this dialog box you'll get somewhat familiar with this dialog box, because every time you need to link to a file or upload a file, this is what will come up. So let's go ahead and click upload a file. Let's click browse, and let's find the file that we now want to upload to the Moodle web server. So I'm looking on my desktop, not finding. I'm going to use this file known as add-ons, and then you can save it as a different file name. You can change the author or change the licensing, but in my case, or in this case, all of those are unnecessary. So let's go ahead and click upload this file. It has now uploaded. So we have now uploaded a file to our Moodle web server. Before we go ahead and look at the other method to uploading files, notice that it says maximum size for new files, and it says 10 megabytes. You have to keep in mind what the maximum file size is for your particular web server. So from one web server to the next, you might have different file size. If I want to look at my file, I can always click on it. It gives you the option to download, rename, move, or delete the file. In this case, I want to just look at my file, so I can click download, and your web browser should then give you the option to save or open that file. So let's go ahead and just upload one more file. Maybe it's a picture. Let's go ahead and upload a picture. And click upload this file. And there it is. So I now I've now uploaded 2 files to our Moodle web server. So I'm now clicking save changes, and now we can move on. So we now have a couple files on our web server, 2 web files to be exact, in a folder. Now, as I was stating earlier, there's more than one way to manage private files in a course, or to link to files in a course, to be correct. So let me get back into that course that we were looking at. So I've now uploaded 2 files, but I'm going to show you a second method to uploading a file. Now, the second method is done during the whole process of uploading, of linking to a file. So under add a resource, you click file. In pretty much the same way we did when creating a web page, you have to give it a name. Now this name is the link that the students will see. So it should be somewhat descriptive, or should be a description of the file that you want the students to upload. So I'm gonna name this this link add-on. I'm gonna give it a description known as a Word document about add-ons. Now that we have given it a description, we now need to tell Moodle where this file is. Is it that we're going to upload a file and then link to it, or is it that we already have the file on the Moodle web server and we just need to link to it? So let's click add. Now this dialog should be somewhat familiar, but remember earlier we uploaded some files, so we can go to private files. Here's the same week one folder, and let me click on this file known as add-on, and then click select this file, and if you notice, the file will now appear in the blue area. Now it's asking what should there are some additional options which you can play with. There is this button known as show advanced, which gives you some additional options when managing this file, but let's leave it on. Let's keep those hidden for the time being. Now display, is it that the file should be embedded? Should it force a student to download? Should it open? Should it pop up? This option known as force download is, for instance, what would happen when you upload a PDF file and the student clicks on the file, the web browser will attempt to open the file directly in the web browser. This option known as force download will then tell the web browser to allow the student to download the file instead of trying to open it. So this is a nice option if you want to ensure that the file is downloadable by the students, because some students might not pick up readily that you have to then, if the file opens within the web browser, they would have to click on save to save it to their machine. So I'm gonna click force download, and this option known as show will determine whether or not this file is visible to the student. So if you're still working on this file, or you're not sure if you want to give them access to this file as yet, you can always hide it. Let's go ahead and click save and return to course, and there it is. The nice thing about Moodle, I must highlight, is when you link to a file and Moodle is aware of this file format, it will actually use the representative icon. So in this case, it's using a Microsoft Word icon to represent the icon for the file type that the student will download. So that's a nice touch of that Moodle. So let's go ahead and try to download this file, or click on it. So when I click on it, it gives me the option to download the file. So there it is. We have uploaded two files and we have linked to it. Now let's go back and link to another file. However, let's go ahead and upload the file and link it at the same time. So let's go ahead again. So let's click on add a resource, file. Again, we'll give it a name. I'm gonna just give it a name of something, and description is something again. I'm not sure what I'll upload this time, so that's why I'm giving it a name something. And let's go ahead and click add. Now this dialog box should be coming all so familiar to you by now. Let's click upload a file, browse. Let me now find a file on my machine which I want the students to be able to access. A hard drive. Click open, upload this file, and then there it is. So we have now indicated to Moodle that we want to link this file. Let me just rename the description, saying hard drive. I'm gonna instruct Moodle to force the download, and let's click return and save and return to course. And there it is. We have now uploaded and linked to two files. So the process of, if you already have your course material, it's not a case where you have to cut and paste or go through the whole process of transferring all of that information into a web page. Moodle gives you the option to upload all your course material in whatever file format they are and link them. But one precaution, stick to simple file types which you know are common. So for instance, a PDF file, everyone should be able to open a PDF file because the Adobe Reader is free. Stick to Microsoft Word format. There are other formats of documents like the open document format. However, not every student, I can guarantee, will be familiar with that format. So I would say stick with the doc format, which is the Microsoft Word format, and be mindful that not every student might have a Word 2007 or 2010 or a newer version of Word. So a safe bet is to save in the Word 2003 or previous format. That's it for uploading a file.